everyone, thanks for watching the CB vlog here on YouTube. You know what to do if you want to help out. You can just hit subscribe, leave us a comment, or if you really want, you can go over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/commandersbrew, and help donate directly to the show. And Sean, you're killing me with this bit. It's a great bit. I love the bit. I don't want you to stop it because it's really funny. It's derailing the thing at the beginning, but it's fine. Keep doing it. Okay. Anyways, go to patreon.com/commandersbrew because it really helps us out a lot. You can help get in on the Discord and you can help us brew the decks. The one from this week basically was, it was a giant group mind effort. It was really, really fun. All the discussion. So get in there, patreon.com/commandersbrew and help us out. But let's get into today's topic. Which is the state of the format in 2020. Now, this is coming hot off the heels of one of the founders of Commander, Sheldon Mennery. He did his big annual article of the state of the format, and just kind of ran down, I guess what his year's been like, what the year's been like for the format and all this kind of stuff. So I took a little peruse of this article and I found it was pretty on point. It's pretty where you want. I think the one of the guys who's makes a lot of decisions, or at least contributes to making a lot of decisions in the format, his thoughts and stuff like that, and the way he's viewing things, I actually think was pretty cool, pretty good. Sheldon is a guy who I don't know him personally, but he he's a bit of a figurehead when it comes to Commander, and I think he takes a lot of flack for a lot of various things that happen when it comes to rules committee stuff and stuff like that. And I think it also he gets credit, but it doesn't get a ton of credit. When you're in a position like that, that's how things tend to work out. You get all the flack, you don't get any of the good stuff. But anyways, this article is good. Check it out. It's a Star City Games article. It's just called State of the Format 2020. It talks a lot about the where we are as far as the format goes, product wise, and what Wizards is creating and stuff like that. And also, of course, he talks a little bit about the competitive EDH stuff that's been happening recently with ban lists and stuff. He addresses that. I'm not going to go through every single thing he says in the article. Obviously, check it out for yourself. It is nice. It's a good read. Talks a little bit about Gavin Verhey's larger article that was also on the mothership kind of earlier in the year. Anyways, a lot of stuff in here, a lot of stuff to unpack. But really what I wanted to do was have our own little state of the format here. And I wanted for us to kind of weigh in on where we see things going in this year and sort of what we kind of hope to see, and sort of specifically from product wise, kind of Sheldon does here at the beginning of his article, and then even kind of from a bit of a rules committee and kind of CAG thing where it's the decisions that those people are making. So this is huge, this is big. But first, thoughts on the actual format. Now we can obviously probably only talk about our meta, and then when we occasionally get out in the wild and we play with some people at GPs and we talk to our friends on Twitter and stuff like that, that's how we interact with the larger Commander group. So Sean, what do you think of as far as the state of, as best as we can, the state of the format currently?
Yeah, I mean, what a great summation. It is so hard to comment on such a big, enormous picture. But I mean, it's, from what I see, it seems like things are pretty great. Mm-hmm. Obviously, if you go through Reddit and Twitter, you're going to see negativity.
Yeah.
Right? But if you look for the positivity, there's always people who are excited to play, hey, I just discovered this commander, help me brew it. Yeah. Hey, I'm excited to play this kind of thing. And there's that tells me that there's so many new people discovering this game. I'll speak personally. Our meta's going strong. It's great. A lot of super fun decks in it. I've been thinking a lot about 20 and 2020, about the idea of maybe going down to 20 life. I've played a game at 20 and a couple games at 30. And let me tell you, 20 feels very fast.
Really?
20
Like too
feels
fast?
like, well, I can't decide if it's too fast really, or if it just feels fast because I'm so not used to it.
Right.
Like anything feels different like right away. Like if it's different, it feels dramatic, but maybe it isn't. But I have been, when we play our 40 games, I have been watching the life totals and just imagining, like, if we were doing 30, here's what the life totals would be. And I know that that's not entirely realistic, because if you were closer to death, people would play a little bit differently, but it does. I don't know. I think 30s. I like 30 because, like, you get to, like, the exciting part of the game faster. People get to spend a little bit less time just straight up ignoring the board.
Yeah. And you know what? Interesting. Like, obviously, we touched on this in our sort of year-end recap, the Cream Down, which is only about a month ago at this point.
Yeah. Cream's still rising.
Cream's still rising. But it is interesting to do this little check-in, because it's, I think that, like, that is a change that I think would be actually pretty positive for this game. And again, we talked about this before, but just to touch on it, I always hear people, especially in, like, more like high-powered, faster metas, talking about ignoring the combat step or staying out of the combat step.
Yeah.
It's such a, like, that's not appealing to me. You know what I mean?
No.
I don't want, and I have lots of decks that don't want to interact with the combat stuff, don't get me wrong, but I'm not, like, actively looking like, how can I keep this deck out of the combat step? You know what I mean? Like, sure, like, my Breya Hellkite Tyrant deck is, like, all about winning with alternative win cons, but it's not talking about specifically looking to stay out of that combat step, because it can win with combat too. But anyways, I think it's a healthier thing if it's like, you can't just ignore the combat step. You know what I mean? You have to deal with people attacking you, and it's not a weakness if a deck wants to attack with creatures.
Yeah.
That's just me personally. But anyways, I think the 30 or the 20s or whatever, you know what's a good time to experiment with this? And I was thinking about the other day when we were playing, is, how you'll have a commander night and you got 5 people come in, like, it's gonna be a 5-player night, but one of the guys is going to be like half hour later than the rest of the guys. So sometimes everyone will just come at 8:30, or we'll just sit and chat for half an hour. Get a 20 life game at least started, and see how far you get into it. See how it affects the game. Because then, when the 5th guy shows up, then just whatever, shuffle up and we'll start a new game or whatever, like we normally do. But at least there's your little experiment. There's your 20 life experiment. Try that out. Because that's what for me, it was too late. We were already in the middle of a game. And I was like, oh, we should have done this at 20 life. Ooh, I should have thought of this earlier. And it was too late. But the next one, I promise you I'm going to do that. So keep that 20 and 2020 going. And 30 might be the happy middle ground.
It might be the right number.
Yeah.
We might have to wait 1,010 years to try 30 and 30-30.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, I wanted to also kind of, we did a vlog about the CEDH rule stuff, which got a lot of people talking, not that vlog, but just the general topic, and and it kind of made me look at the rules committee and the commander advisory group and what it is that they're up to. Obviously, right? I like it when the rules committee I love it when they don't announce bans, because now I don't have to take any cards out of my deck.
Yeah.
And whatever, we're not really just going to talk about all just bans here right now, but I wanted to say that I think that so far, as this has been a pretty short period of time with the CAG and the rules committee acting together, and I think that we've seen, like, the commander rules committee has a new website, has a good website now,
Wow.
which I remember is one of the main things people were talking about a couple years ago, like when I was in LA and we would do the commander summit with Phil and Jimmy and Josh, and, like, one of the main things those guys would always talk about is, like, we gotta get a better website. This thing is from, like, 1996. it's brutal. It's like it's just off like a forum post. So they pulled that off like in pretty short order. What do you think? You have any? That's just one positive thing I could think of. Obviously, we're not in there. We don't know exactly what's going on. But I see like Shiva making some big posts. Getting a lot of discussions going. So far, I think it's like been a pretty positive thing.
Yeah, I think I mean, politics aside, like you've got where does the rules committee end and the CAG begin? Like the titles are kind of, to me, like I don't care about titles. Like who are the people? Let me see your faces. It's a nice group, a very diverse group of people who play at different levels in different communities with different specific interests in it, and I think that's only good, right? Like I think the easiest thing you could complain about the rules committee is just like who are these people? Do they play like I play? It's like maybe not, but you get a CAG going. I say get even more people in there. Let's make this thing. But part of that also means like as someone who plays in the community, I'm a hearty believer in like rule zero. Like I personally don't. I mean, I care because I'm interested in Commander, but as a personal player, when I sit down, I don't care what the rules committee is doing. Right. I'm going to play the way we want to play. Like that's what we'll do. But for the health of the game, yeah, I want more transparency. And I'm not saying like why. A lot of people use the term transparency to mean like every decision you make, I want to know exactly what got you there and why you did it, which is important, but that's not the transparency I mean. I just mean like, what are they thinking about? Like yeah. I want to know what they're working on when there's no decisions.
Yeah.
Like, hey, where are you at? Where do you stand? What's the thing that you're most interested in? And then if everybody can make that clear, we can look at all of those statements and see, hey, there's something missing here. Let's get someone who is passionate about the missing thing. I don't know what everyone's specialty is.
I think it's good that the CAG does do a pretty decent job with that. When there are discussions to be had, or when they're talking about this, I generally see some member or some number of members talking about it on, whether it's on Twitter or wherever. Right? I've got to say I've actually seen that at a fair amount, where it's like, hey, we're talking about this in the rules committee, or we're talking about this with the advisor group. And I'm not like glued to Twitter, obviously. Like I'm on there a decent amount, just like anyone else. But like, I feel like I've seen it a good amount of times, and I think that's a positive thing. So, yeah, I like that. Anyways, I think I'm glad you brought up that you think there should be even more people. I guess I don't know if you were saying this exactly, but I'm wondering, like, looking at the list of folks, again, I agree it's a good list, diverse people playing from different groups and different power levels and all that kind of stuff. I think it's got to have someone from our podcast on it.
It's gotta, right? Who better to represent like the salt of the earth players, right? the basement goofballs who brew the janky decks.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Who don't come budget? 10 miles from an OG dual land.
Oh, not even close. Not even considering it. Like, I guarantee you play with many members of the advisor group, and their decks are looking nice. Foils, all this stuff. That's great, guys. You know what? That is awesome. I love that. I love seeing that. And there's nothing wrong with it at all. In fact, it's really great. But that, like, I think we need to get the other end of the spectrum on there as well. You know what I mean? I think we need to get some people who are like, hey man, check out my Theros Beyond Death basic lands. You know what I mean? Check out these Ixalan basics.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Get some more of those neat move representatives.
Yeah, dude, we got to be talking about neat moves in there, and we got to get. And I don't have the list of the CAG in front of me right now, but I don't think there's a Canadian on there. Is there?
What? There's got to be.
I don't think there is. So I think if we're talking about the first international / Canadian someone on there, I think you got to consider at least one of these guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
When are the elections? When do we start campaigning for this?
When do we campaigning?
Right?
We'll tag out. We'll tag out even.
When are we starting the campaign? Right? When is it happening? Let us know. If you
We'll bring donuts.
it, I want to see some hashtag suggestions. I want to see a campaign. I want to see a grassroots campaign. Andy for KEG 2020, Sean for KEG 2020. I want to see this happening. We'll decide. Maybe it's both. Who cares? What about toss us both on there?
Yeah, give us it's like when two people like share like a subway pass. It's like
we'll speak with one voice. That's an improv game. We're very well versed with that.
We're very good at it. I ate chicken fingers with Sheldon at CommandFest DC. So
look at that.
We're already there.
We're already there. So anyways, and that's one thing. Lastly, I wanted to just mention CommandFest because that seemed like, if anything, that was an excellent kind of proof of the health and state of the format as being really positive, right? There's obviously sometimes a lot of noise on social media when it comes to negative things, but I think you can attest to this personally, that it was a very, very good spot to be at.
VG spot.
Yeah. So that's great, right? And hopefully there's going to be more of those.
Yeah, those three were announced like a week out.
I know.
Is there none on the horizon?
If there's no Canadian one, we should just make one ourselves. We should just do one. Hey, everyone, come in my backyard. You got room for a couple of tables back there. Come on.
Yeah, let's do it.
Anyways, okay. Well, thanks for letting us ramble a little bit, letting us kind of shoot the breeze, as they say, about the old state of the format. I think the state of the format is great. I think it's healthy. I think, again, a lot of noise out there, but I think you got to hand it to the people who are making the decisions about this format that they're doing pretty good, man. If the biggest controversy was not banning a card because the competitive folks are mad about it, it's well, that's not that bad. That's the one thing. That's okay.
Yeah.
Could be worse is all I'm saying. Great. Well, let us know what you think. Let us know. Maybe there's something else. Maybe something that's not so great, but let us know either way. Thanks for checking this one out. Let's see you guys next time. Great.
Bye.
Sweet.
Thanks for watching. If you love what we're doing, consider supporting the show by going to patreon.com/commandersbrew.
And if you want to get any of the cards from our deck list, go to our TCGplayer affiliate link below.
That helps us out too. And for a free way to help us out, consider sharing the show with some friends. Like and subscribe, add a comment or two.
See you later.
Bye.